The 24/7 customer support system I'm about to show you took 120 calls and not a single human answered. And that's all because I use AI to build this team. If you're still running a small business and having humans take care of your appointment booking and customer support calls, I'm sorry to say, but... So in this video, I'm going to show you how we put 5 different voice AI agents of an e-commerce customer support team to the test with 15 tests and 120 calls in total. See, this is no joke. I really want to emphasize that 80% of businesses are going to be using voice AI in their customer interactions and operations by 2026. If you're not convinced by that statistic and my observations, feel free to click off this video. But if you're serious about adapting to the latest efficient technology, have a seat for the next 10 minutes to really see what this could do for your business. If you're new to the channel, what's up? My name is Azim. I'm the founder of Inspire AI, a voice AI agency that helps brands and businesses scale, save, and see results with our advanced voice AI systems. If you are interested in working with us and getting a glimpse of what those results could look like for your business, you can schedule a free 15-minute intro chat with me using the calendar link in the description. This is completely free and tailored for your business and brand, with a guarantee that you'll learn something new and be surprised by voice AI. Just book a free 15-minute chat and the link in the description. Now, let's get back into the video. In my previous video, I built and tested a $300,000 customer support voice AI team. If you'd like to see that, feel free to check it out on my channel. It's only 15 minutes long and it's going to give you a good picture of what we're going to be discussing in this video. This customer support team has 5 different agents involved. It includes a general customer support agent, which is responsible for identifying what the caller needs help with and transferring callers to the correct assistant. In total, we have 4 of these other assistants. They're responsible for answering FAQs, giving product recommendations, checking the order status, and processing returns and cancellations. So now that you're familiar with how our voice AI team works, let's put each team member to the test individually and see how they work. What you will come to see in just a second is that these tests go above and beyond on revealing what voice AI can do and how it does it. So instead of giving these agents 120 of the same calls that simulate regular human beings, I decided to turn it up a notch. So here I am in my voice test suite section of Vapi. For those of you who don't know, by the way, Vapi is a major voice AI service provider on which I build e-commerce voice AI support agents. Going back to the test structure point that I made earlier in this video, let's take a look into one of these tests. For each test, there's something called a script and a rubric. The script is essentially the identity or the instructions that Vapi's own testing agent interprets and acts on. So here I have given it the identity of a caller that wishes to return their order, but that is providing no information to the agent. And the rubric for a test is essentially the requirements that the agent needs to fulfill during the call for the test to be considered passing. There are 4 main requirements I have for this test. This includes our agent's ability to recognize the intent, perform an escalation to Alexandra, which is our returns and cancellation specialist, its tone and style, as well as its language during the interaction. This test will be run 8 times so that we can see that Corey can reliably resolve callers' issues. My other agents have been blessed with the same type of customers. For example, Alexandra, which is responsible for cancellation and return, is going to have to work with another low energy and completely unproductive caller. Now, here's the moment that you have all been waiting for. We will be testing the agents one by one. Let's get right into the tests. So first we will obviously start with Corey, just because it's the general support agent and it's supposed to transfer people over to the correct agent once they've said what they need help with. To make this simple and interesting for you, I'm going to run through each test, skim through the feedback a bit, and have them shown for you on the screen. So I'm going to click run test for Corey. As you can see, the test has been initiated. The results have just come in for this test. To show you that this is completely legit and not rigged, you can see on my screen that today is June 8th and it's currently 11:01 a.m. On my Vapi dashboard, you'll see that I ran the test just 2 minutes ago. Now we can look through the results of the test. So overall, Corey managed to pass all 3 of the tests, but I think for extra accuracy, it would be important to see how many attempts out of the 8 for each test Corey actually succeeded in. So the first test, whose results you will be able to see on the screen that I've put on for you. Out of the 8 times that Corey had to struggle with our extremely vague customer that wanted a return, it succeeded 7 times. For the second test, where Corey was called by a customer that just kept repeating Corey's phrase of "How can I help you today?" Corey passed 6 out of 8 times. For the final test, Corey succeeded 8 out of 8 times. And this was quite surprising to me, because in this scenario, it was being called by a frustrated caller that wasn't clearly stating their issue, nor giving any information that would help the agent. Overall, for the 3 tests, Corey had success rates of 87.5%, 75%, and 100%, and this averages out to an 87.5% success rate. Next, we're gonna run Jamal's test. So once again, all 3 tests more or less succeeded. For his first test, Jamal was tasked with helping an indecisive shopper that was constantly changing their preferences and wants. Overall, it finished this test with a score of 6 out of 8, which is not bad considering how vague the caller was. For the second test, Jamal scored an 8 out of 8. This test involved a customer that was trying to multitask, asking many questions and trying to get all of the information at once. Jamal surprised me in this one because I thought this was really going to be a challenge, with all of the FAQ answering and tool calls. For his third and final test, Jamal also succeeded with an 8 out of 8. This test involved an aggressive and extremely greedy shopper that wanted to get a discount at all costs. Jamal's 6 out of 8, 8 out of 8, and 8 out of 8 performance averages out to a 92% success rate. Next, we will go ahead and see how Alexandra performs. She is responsible for returns and cancellations, which can be quite difficult. So the tests have just come in, let's check them out. Again, we do see our agent at least somewhat succeeding in all of the tests. In this test, the caller was a low energy person that was scattered all over the place, did not know their order number, and much more. Since all 8 calls were successful, the AI's performance was quite strong. In the second test, Alexandra struggled with an impatient caller that was in a rush. It was successful in all of its 8 attempts, once again shows strong performance. In the third test, however, Alexandra had a bit of a challenge. The third test included a caller who was extremely skeptical and distrustful of customer support services. You can imagine that must be a big issue. And it really was. Alexandra succeeded only 6 out of the 8 times. Overall though, Alexandra's 8 out of 8, 8 out of 8, and 6 out of 8 performance averages out to a 92% success rate. Next up, we're gonna have Rachel, which is our product recommendation agent. Once again, I'm just gonna run the tests, and let's take a look at them. For the first test, we had a caller that was looking for a chair. Initially, this may have seemed as a regular inquiry, but what the agent did not know is that the caller would be constantly changing their preferences, going from one budget, one color, and one size to the next. Overall, it succeeded 8 out of the 8 times. For Rachel's second test, we had a bulk buyer that was uncertain about what to buy. First, they would ask for 1,000 pens for their office, the next second they would ask for 20 binders, and that kept going on. Even though this was probably very annoying, the agent handled this 8 out of 8 times again. The third and final test for this agent was relatively similar to the first one. However, this was harder because the caller was asking for a storage solution, but once they got an answer and an offer to continue, it would endlessly switch preferences. Despite this, my agent still held up, 8 out of 8 accuracy. Overall, I'm very happy with the performance of this agent. It is our first test where 24 out of 24 calls were successfully resolved. And for our final test, we're going to be testing our check order status agent, Olivia. Our final test results have come in, so hopefully let's finish this off well. For the first test, we had a friendly but impatient customer that kept asking a bunch of questions to annoy our agent. Even though I didn't spend much time reviewing and tweaking this agent, I'm surprised that it held up with an 8 out of 8 passing rate. For the second test, we had both an annoyed and an impatient caller. The AI maintained a consistent tone, empathy, as well as a willingness to actually help out. This had a 100% passing rate as well. And for the final test, what we had was a customer that couldn't get their order number or other details, so the agent could check their order. This had an 8 out of 8 passing rate as well, which I'm really happy about. As a quick review, our products recommendation and order status agents handled 100% of customer inquiries correctly. They were followed by the returns and cancellations and the FAQ agent, which each had a 92% success rate. Finally, we had the general support agent, which honestly probably had among the hardest tests. It scored an 87.5%, which in itself is not bad either. At worst, you're accurate 87.5% of the time. At best, you're accurate 100% of the time. And with that, the average success rate is 94.3%. And so the point of Voice AI customer support is not stand apart from your competitors with some fancy stuff. The point is that real businesses are using AI agents to automate repetitive work. And this doesn't just benefit you with cost and time savings as well as revenue, but it helps your employees perform more high leverage tasks to really grow your business. So it's not that this impacts customer support and that's it. No, this genuinely transforms your entire business. And I'm not just saying this so I can sell you something. I'm only one of the many thousands of people that are saying the same thing in 2025. And with the way that AI is going right now, the first to adopt are the first to win. It's not that AI is quickly transforming our world, it's also that customers are demanding instant service. In a world where AI can instantly write an email or create ultra-realistic images in just a few seconds, customer support is becoming a profit center. What that means is that businesses are actively integrating product recommendations into other channels like customer support. And as more studies have once again shown, not having product recommendations built into your system is the #1 path to losing 31% of your potential yearly revenue. With that being said, if you're a business owner, whether you have just discovered Voice AI or have been looking into it for quite some time, feel free to book a free 15-minute intro chat with me using the calendar link in my description. You will not need to use your card details because once again, this is completely free. In there, we can discuss a Voice AI strategy for your business in 2025. If you're serious about taking this opportunity, I'll see you inside. And with that, thank you for watching this video. Drop some suggestions for videos that you'd like to see in the future in the comment, and maybe the next time you're watching, you'll see a video about your suggestion.